He's Gemini Hammer, rage and grace. The good side preaches and the bad side breaks. A skeleton face in a streaming storm. He's a double-edged soul, beautifully deformed. Two minds clash in a digital cage. He's peace and war on the same damn stage.
It has been 4 damn months. What the hell have you been doing? Where the hell have we been? Do you have any explanation for why it's been so damn long? What have you got? Tell me. Go ahead. Give me your best excuse. Do you want to hear how I lost my finger? I'm telling you. Right here. Are there going to be details? Of course. Pictures? Yes. Is this some sort of weird revenge plot against somebody or something? No. You hesitated on that. Yeah, I know. I thought for a second about, could it be? But then I realized I could back up everything I say in this. I got the truth. I got the details. So, yeah. It's more of a, how do I want to put this? Videographic detailed timeline of events. All right, cool. So as long as it has nothing to do with getting any type of revenge. That really didn't help your case. I know. Please just do me a favor and try not to get us canceled. I cannot offer anything on that. Before we get started, need to go ahead and point out for legal reasons, this video is in no way, shape, or form an attack on any individuals or entities. This is simply a retelling of events based on what I can prove. And how can you prove it? I'm glad you asked. Give me 1 second. Because this right here is all the evidence that I have. So if anybody wants to say anything about it, what have you got? That seems like a lot. Yeah, well, when people piss me off, I kind of get detailed. But that having been said, let's begin our little tale, shall we? So, our story takes place all the way back in October of 2021. That seems like a long time ago. You would think that it would be a long time ago, but realistically, not that long ago. Actually, 5 years? I mean, that's pretty recent history, don't you think? I mean, yeah, I guess. All right, so tell the story. October 2021, I was hired to work for a multi-billion-dollar-a-day company. Are you going to tell us what company that was? Oh, of course I am. That company was UPS, United Parcel Services. Hold on, wait. Did that image say Google Maps? Yeah, most of the images that you're going to see, I got from the internet. Primarily Google, honestly. So I will reference where I got the photos, if you look at the images. And while some of them may get people upset, hey, these are images on the internet. Fair use, right? Especially if it can be proven. That sounds legally dubious at best. Yeah, well, the whole damn situation is legally dubious at best. Anyway, moving on with the story. When I was hired at UPS, I was placed in a position where I only stayed for 2 weeks, and due to other medical conditions, I was moved. My final position, I was called a bagger. And Gemini, would you like to take a guess as to what a bagger does? I'm assuming bags stuff? Yes, exactly. Now, here's a picture that I took. This is of my workstation. So, if you have any questions about why I'm called a bagger, this would be why. I worked with nothing but bags. All right? I did work. I did work with nothing but bags. I noticed you said did work. Ah, yes. Well, currently at the time of recording this, it is past tense. However, there are currently future things in the works that could potentially change that. So, yeah, currently past tense. Well, hold on. If this changes stuff, or if the stuff that's going to happen changes stuff, wouldn't that be affected by what you're doing now? Ah, yes, but again, I referred you to a previous comment about the evidence. Okay, that's a fair point. Thank you. Anyway, so, in doing my job at the time as a bagger, I ended up suffering from a condition called trigger finger. Now, what trigger finger is when you form a nodule, which is a growth on your tendon, and it cannot slide through the tendon sheaths. And you have 3 tendon sheaths in your fingers, and it's at each bend. So I formed a nodule at the base of the index finger. What do you think I did? I'm assuming you reported the injury? I reported the injury. Now, this is where stuff can get a little bit dubious at best. So, hang on to your butts. What exactly do you mean legally dubious? Well, as I said, I did report the injury. And I reported that injury to then supervisor Zach McCraw, seen here cosplaying as the hood version of Charlie Kirk's ghost. And that's where we got canceled. Oh well, if any of them have a fucking problem with it, they can kiss my ass. Anywho, as I said, I reported the injury to the then supervisor, Zach McCraw, who proceeded to take me to a room called the safety office. Now, as you can see in the safety office, there are no cameras. So, everything that I'm about to say, there is no evidence of, per se. It is mostly at this point my hearsay, but this incident is later going to come into play with the other parts of this whole situation. What do you mean by that? Ah, there's a little bit of connection down the road, but you'll have to wait to find out for that. Anyway, so I was taken into the safety office by Mr. McCraw, where my job was then threatened into signing a waiver of liability. For those of you who don't know what a waiver is basically a way for a company to get out of paying any type of earned benefits for based on an injury. You're relinquishing all rights. Well, why'd you do that? Well, I was new, and we still technically weren't out of the pandemic at the time. So, kind of had to worry about my job, you know? Yeah, I can see it. I mean, you gotta take care of yourself and your family. Exactly. So that's why I reluctantly signed. Now, here's where the fun part gets in. That documentation apparently doesn't exist inside the company, inside the building that I worked at. Just somehow miraculously just went and decided to fly away. Or, as I'm more inclined to believe, the then supervisor, Mr. McCraw, decided to just throw it away. Wait, what do you mean throw it away? Meaning it doesn't exist. It's nowhere in the building. It's nowhere to be found. And there have been a lot of inquiries made as to where the location of this documentation is, but as I said, I think it was just, thrown away. Which is funny because that's the kind of stuff that goes against OSHA policy, where OSHA has stated that any sort of documentation made about any type of work-related injury must be kept on file for 5 years. And I'm assuming they didn't do that? Oh, God, no. Nope, apparently it's just gone. That doesn't seem very smart, if you ask me. Oh, yeah, I know, right? It's like one of the dumbest things ever. I mean, I feel like even in that circumstance, not only would you want to protect your workers, but you'd also want to protect yourself, right? I mean, yeah. I can't believe that they did that. I know. It makes no sense to me. It was so stupid. So, what happened after you signed the waiver? Well, after the waiver was signed, I ended up just going to the hospital and having the whole thing taken care of myself. I mean, what other option did I really have? And what happened after you had the surgery? Well, had to wait a little bit, recovery time. But eventually, I just ended up going right back to work. Hold up. So after all that, you just went right back to work? What, like nothing mattered? Well, as I said, at that time, I really didn't feel like there was much I could do, and there really wasn't. It wasn't until later that I discovered some fishy stuff had went down. What do you mean? Like what happened when you went back? Well, I think we're going to save that for the next video. Oh, dude, that's a cliffhanger, bro. Yeah, well, you better get used to it because there's going to be a few cliffhangers in this. But I think we're going to end it here. So, for anybody watching, if you want to know what happened next, or if you like what we've done here today, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to share, comment, like, all of that stuff. It would really help us out. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and say that I am Gemini Hammer. And I am G-Mini. And I am also pissed that this is where we end. Yeah, well, get used to it. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next one for part 2. Peace.
He's Gemini Hammer, rage and grace. The good side preaches and the bad side breaks. A skeleton face in a streaming storm. He's a double-edged soul, beautifully deformed.